Hello guys and welcome back to another video. It may come as a surprise to most of you. I'm back on Timber Gold Trails, but today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Um, I am going to be giving you guys a Rocky Mountain Elk guide. So I hope it comes as helpful to at least a few of you, and I hope it helps you guys in finding those big elk and well, at least increasing your chances in finding big elk. So without any further ado, let's get to it. So, in a brief explanation, I'm going to explain to you guys how my route and hunting for Rocky Mountain Elk goes. So, one of my favorite spots to walk for Rocky Mountain Elk is the eastern side of the map. As you guys will see, this area that I've circled just to the east of that lake, where all those roads are entangled in that green area. One of the best places to walk for elk. It's loaded with elk in that area. There are some wolves that will cause a few problems with chasing, but not a ton of chasing. So I would suggest that being the best area to walk for elk. Short route, a lot of elk, action packed. It's great. Then, moving across to the western side of the map, you'll see a very similar area west of that lodge. There's a green patch that goes all the way up to that road where the road ends. I always walk from the lodge up the green area to the top of the road. I often get distracted by Rocky Mountain Elk before then, before I reach that tip of the road, and then I follow them around. But the nicest thing about that area is there are only grizzly bears and Rocky Mountain Elk. Nothing else spawns in that area. So a quick walk through that area always does well. Just solely because it's mainly elk, a few bears here and there. Not as good as the eastern area, but not too far behind. I always like walking up that green patch along the road back towards the lodge to where the roads meet again, and then I'll fast travel out the area. Um, and then going to stands. Stands, you'll see my furthest west stand. Obviously, in the area where you can hunt elk, my furthest west tent is actually up in the mountains, but you know where we're talking about. That is the most consistent and best stand for elk, for Rocky Mountain Elk. Um, the only thing with that stand is you have to start at that stand first thing in your hunt. So if you start at 6 a.m., don't do anything else, fast travel to that tent first. I don't know why, but if you hunt around first and then fast travel to that tent, it's not as good as if you were to fast travel to it in the beginning. There's a good amount of elk that always come in at that stand. The most consistent spot I've found for elk, and the best numbers for elk. So yeah, that's my suggestion. Go there. 6 a.m. works well, 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Those are the best times I've found for that spot. 9 a.m. I would suggest using scent spray. It just attracts them better because that's their sleeping time, their bedding time. And then you'll see a tent and tree stand set up on the river that goes north, the middle river, on that road. That is another very good spot for Rocky Mountain Elk. Also very consistent, good numbers. The only downside is there are a lot of mule deer in that area as well, so you'll get a mixed bag of elk and mule deer, but still a very good number of elk. And then obviously you guys can always walk the river north to that northern lake. It is decent for elk, but it's a long route, and it takes a lot of time, and it's not that rewarding. Yes, you do get a few elk, but not that many. So I'm gonna give you guys, or the spots that I've given you guys are areas you can do quickly, and you'll find the most elk for in the least amount of time. So you're just time efficient. So that will be that for explaining it. Now I'll go to showing you guys. So we've just gotten our first call, and the elk is not too far ahead of us here. Usually as you get to I forgot that you can actually put more than one marker down. Usually one gets to there, I start calling, and then you'll either get a call from here or there. Either one of those two areas that are marked there. See that mark? Should be there. Yeah. So you either get a call from one of those two areas. Sometimes it's sort of somewhere in between, but not really that often. And the nice thing about elk is elk are one of the few species that reply to calls. So, let's see if it actually does what it should here. No reply just yet. Sometimes they don't reply straight away, but it takes some time. But what I generally do with elk, this goes for Roosevelt elk as well. Um, a lot of people don't agree with this method, but I blind call. A lot of people actually use it for like elk and stuff because they generally answer calls. So you know they there and they coming in. But if that elk didn't even call, I would have been walking um, and just calling every now and then like that until I hear a reply, and then I'll crouch down and um, sort of get it to come in. But that's my method for it. Let's get this guy in and see what he looks like. Okay, just a tip on this area as well. That's a lone male. That might be good. That might also be why this guy didn't answer us. Oh wait, there's a bull right there. That is him, right off to our left. So in this area, yeah, this hotspot area, there's a lot of wolves. So often they'll chase your elk around, but when they do, I'd like to get it for you guys a bit later to show you. But when they do chase the elk, they don't chase him very far. Usually they just chase him around for a little bit. That is one of the smallest elk I've ever seen. No joke. Hurry. That was way too low. But you get the gist of it. There's a lot of wolves. Yeah, they chase him around. They won't chase him that far, and also the elk don't stay in a spooked state for too long. So it does mess you around a bit, especially when the elk is close to render distance. Sometimes we chase them out of render, and then you just never have them come in. So it's just something to look out for. If an elk isn't coming in after it called somewhere near render, just keep that in mind, that it's probably that a wolf has chased it around, and you'll just have to go and follow the tracks. But as I said, they don't run fast, so you just crouch walk after it and you'll find it quickly. So obviously I'm level 20 on tracking for Rocky Mountain Elk, but the general weight for a cow elk is between 225 and 250. It'll obviously be a bigger margin for lower tracking, but they usually weigh around 230 kilos. And the bulls, most of the time, sounds like an angry grizzly. Oh, that's very close. Most of the time, the bulls weigh between 300 and 340. Very little do they go under 300. So if you find a track that's anywhere, the estimate anywhere below 300, and you lower tracking, that is very likely to be a cow. Yeah, most 90% chance it'll be a cow. So just keep that in mind so you don't follow the wrong things. So getting back to the topic of, and there you can also see an example of the elk answering the call. So getting back to the topic of tracking the right or wrong tracks. Rocky Mountain elk can make 3 group formations, which is either cows and bulls. Sometimes or usually 1 or 2 bulls and about 3 or 4 cows, just roughly. It's not always the same. It's more or less around there every time though. But pay attention to this cow's weight, 225 to 240, the same for the other cow. Um, so that's the first formation. And the second formation they have is only bulls, but that happens on very rare occasions where you get a group of 3 or 4 or 5, even up to 6 bulls at once. And then you obviously get only cows, but that also happens very rare. Well, not very rarely, but it happens rarely. It doesn't happen as often as the normal grouping of 1 to 2 bulls and 3 to 4 or 5 cows. But it does happen. It happens more often than only bulls. So just keep that in mind. And obviously, it also happens where you get single cows and single bulls, but that happens with any other animal in the game. Um, what I find interesting here is there was a bull track with these cow tracks. And there were also more than 2 cows. That's okay. That's a wolf track. But I just want you guys to pay attention to the weights here. I'm gonna pick these two cows up just to show you guys the weight. So you see they 231. As I mentioned earlier, they're usually around that weight. So they'll never be even close to a bull's weight. So you don't have to worry about that. They're 238, also in the 230s. So around about that 230 mark is usually where they'd be. So you don't really have to worry about getting mixed up with cow and bull tracks as long as you can tell the weight of the tracks. You see there's tracks there, unless these wolves have scattered the herd, which is very likely, because all the way while I was tracking this herd, they kept on trotting, and there were wolf tracks that crossed their tracks. And also, just a tip for this area as well, you guys will see a tent and a tree stand there. Do not pay attention to that. I hear tracks. That sounds like a bull footsteps. That's a cow. But in this area, this hotspot area, um, there. Oh, it's not a good idea to put down a tent and a tree stand. Um, you can maybe put a tree stand down if you want to, but do not put a tent that you will fast travel to. Because I have tested countless areas in this little area, or countless spots, and I have never found a spot that works consistently for elk here. The most consistent, most efficient, most time efficient way to hunt elk in this area is by foot. Just walk and, as I said, blind call and you'll get an answer. And obviously, if you find tracks, you track them. Yeah, just tents and tree stands or that combination in this area. Some hunts you'll get 14 elk at a spot, and then or at that spot, and the next hunt you'll get 0, and then the next hunt you'll get 2, next hunt you'll get 3. You will get those very good hunts, but most of the time it's very low kill hunts if you do that. So that's just a tip from me. I have found that if you put tree stand up, it helps quite a bit, but that also depends on your style of hunting. And let's see, there we go. We got another 231 on the weight, so another low weight girl. Why do I see a blue dome? I think I see a blue dome, but that is an elk carcass. So don't pay attention to that. That we'll speak about at a later stage. That is just a fixed elk carcass that'll spawn in every hunt in feeding areas for wolves. So that has nothing to do with elk. You can claim it, but you don't get money from it. You can't tax it. Nothing. I just wonder where these bulls went, but we'll just keep on calling them and see what happens. So sometimes you see like this will happen. You'll think it was a cow only group or cow only group and a solo elk cow elk that came in, but that's actually from the same group. They just scattered because of these wolves. So yeah, it happens like that, unfortunately, sometimes. Um, yeah, let's see what happened to this bull. That is a heavy wolf. And there you'll see on the track information as well, chasing. So that confirms the theory of them chasing these elk around here. Again, this bull's not impressive at all, but he's a bull nonetheless. And this is again not a single. It's not a solo. This is it's a bull that split off a herd. I found the tracks together, but the whole herd is scattered because of wolves. So keep that in mind. Sometimes the herds can split um, because of that. So then you'll just find a lot of singles or just doubles together. But eventually they'll regroup. That's what the herd patterns are. It's just um, as soon as the herd has, well, the individuals that make up the herd have calmed down, they will start moving towards each other again to form the herd again. So there's also a cow that was part of the herd, so um, he was just behind me and she's ahead of me. So yeah, we could potentially have two groups or just a solo cow and a group coming in. I also don't know if the other call is the group, but it was just a cow like off to the right in that direction. But we shall see. And shucks, I did not equip ammo. Luckily, it's just a cow, so not the smartest. Not a great shot. Ooh, wait, that looked like a good bull. I was gonna say it's odd that he's spooked, but I was crouched up for a while. I'm gonna see if this other cow produces a group, and then we will track that bull down. The problem is I didn't get to see the back tires or fronts or G3s, so there's going to be a shot in the dark following him, but I think it'll be worth it in the end. I think I see something moving in the trees there. Yes, footsteps. Ah, one back time. He'll be on the high end of that score estimate. He's got a nice frame. This guy is tiny. It's so odd to be getting so many solos lately. Like this hunt so far, every elk seems to have been a solo. Reload here, which is very odd. Um, I usually never get this many solos. That bull up there is struggling. He's got stuck. He's a very nice bull, like pretty bull, big frame. He's got a tall back tine on the one side. I didn't see the other side. But that's about it that he's got going from. He'll be 350s, I'm pretty sure. Um, well, from that quick glimpse, much better than this little guy. So we're gonna have a look, see how we're gonna get him. I almost want the call to wear off to where he gets unstuck, and then we can keep on calling him in. Okay, so I've had to just crawl all the way up here to him. He gives a call. I just want him to start moving again, so I've got time to stand up and take the shot. There we go. Oh well, I didn't even need to stand up, just moving up a bit worked out for me. And down he goes. Nice. Finally we got that bull. Took long enough. Okay, let's just clear all these markers. As you see, we haven't even gone far yet. And we've already got quite a few elk. Let's just have a look at this guy's rack. So he's got two backed, or one on each side. One is very long, and one's pretty decent length. His tines are all pretty good. Actually, let's just claim him and check in the trophy shot mode. Might even be 360s, but he doesn't have the massive rack. He's got the big rack 350. He's got the big rack, but not massive rack. Okay, so wait, yeah. Okay, so pretty much this guy is pretty much perfect actually. For this frame, he's got all his fronts, got all his G3s. Well, all of them, all the length. He's got no short G3s, no short fronts, and his back tires are pretty much even. It's just one on each side. That is the biggest problem with him. But even if he had three back tires on each side, he would have probably only ended up being 380s, maybe 390s, pushing it a little bit. That frame is big, but it's not as big as it can get, and it might have made 400. I mean, I can never say for sure, but yeah, still a nice elk for sure. So, as you guys can see, I've basically done the full loop of this area. This is usually the loop I'll do of the west side. And I shot 7 elk, and I had tracks of a group of 5 cows, but that's not worth following, so I didn't follow that. So that's a total of 12 elk in the area if I just shot those 5 cows. So it's not terrible, but yeah, it's a good representation. Well, if this doesn't prove a point, I don't know what does. Just upon fast traveling, get a call from an elk on the road, and I hear footsteps. Um, it's a good sign, but it's calling what is here. 2 bulls by the looks of it. Um, it's even better than just footsteps. At least footsteps attached to something we want. That's a little guy. Other one looked a tad bigger. It actually looked like the other one had back tines, so I'd like to have a look at him. He doesn't seem to want to show himself at the moment. So we'll get this guy down quickly. Okay. He is down. Then I'm gonna keep on calling and just see what else we can call in while wait for this other bull to come in. And we got another bull call to the left. I am not complaining about that. Okay, so that's a good start. And also my mistake, this bull that's coming now is a smaller bull between the two. I think this one's just got longer tines. This guy's got a much lower estimate and a bit of small frame, I think. No, we got quite difficult to compare now when they're on the ground. Actually looks like the same frame. Yeah, it does. We'll see once we pick them up what the differences are. And it has to go and stop the one spot I can't shoot it in. Wait, that's another bull? Oh, okay, it's that bull. I was about to say there's no ways. There's a 4th bull right here. Okay, let's get this guy down. Okay, down he goes. And then let's give this other guy a call. Let's just scan the trees here, make sure there's no other elk that I see at the moment. There's that cow that called on the road, so we'll have to wait and see what she has to offer. She was that way though, not that way. Okay, we'll give it a wait. Well, it is another bull, but unfortunately nowhere near impressive. But we'll take it, it's another bull nonetheless. I'm not complaining by the fact that I'm getting bulls, but why do they not have back tines? That is my one and only question. A lot of solo bulls, I must say. Yeah, he's got no back tines going for him. That's okay. It's another bull nonetheless. Let's get him a little bit closer before we take the shot. I had a cow call behind me as well in that direction. Maybe she brings bulls with her as well, but as you'll see, there's two cows down here as well that came in shortly after that small bull, so that's likely a herd of two cows and that small bull. Which is unfortunate. There's nothing else to that group, but it was a group nonetheless. This bull is not giving me any chance whatsoever. Let's see. Okay. I think. No, still no chance. Just gonna have a look, see if I can't see it. Oh, there's a cow or a cow. Don't know if it's the cow. Probably is because it seems to be on her own. Or she seems to be on her own. So we'll take this bull quickly. Then we'll wait for her to come in. Oh. Actually, let's take him with the KO backed. I mean, it's an easy shot for it. Don't do that. Straight down the middle. Oh wait, there's a bull. And another cow. Let's see what this bull looks like. Ooh, he's actually got one back tine. That's a rare occurrence nowadays. There's three cows. This is a perfect example. Sorry. Sound like I had another one coming in. It's a perfect example of like the stock standard herd of elk. That's like the medium rack when I'm talking about the big racks. That's like the medium rack. And then he's got one back tine going for him as well. It definitely helps the cause. Let's just decide now if he's gonna come in. Yeah, he better come in. Okay, that should be good. Down he goes. And we'll get rid of the rest of these gals over here. Okay, I would like you guys just to pay attention here. As you can see, 11 animals spotted, no harvests, nothing. So we're gonna hop down out of the tree stand and collect all these elk and see where we are at the end of it. Okay, as we finish claiming the last elk there as the 349 scoring bull with one back tine, we shot 12 elk at the tree stand in an hour in game, so that being half an hour in real time. And that's just about as good as you're gonna get for any Rocky Mountain Elk tree stand. Okay, so listen carefully to those footsteps. They sound a lot heavier, and yeah, that's probably the only way to explain it. So I'm gonna go ahead and guess it's going to be an elk. Yep, there we got elk. Just for reference, I did not spot them beforehand, and I had a bull call when I fast traveled. So, but he was off in the distance, so um, we won't know what he is for a while. There's a mule deer there. So this stand, as I said earlier, is a pretty decent stand for elk. This, on the other hand, the big difference between this stand and the other elk stand is the other elk stand is only elk. This is a mixed stand if my inventory would eventually load. The other stand is a elk only stand, and this is a mixed stand. So obviously for a mixed stand you will have fewer elk because the spawn is split here. It looks like a nice frame. It's that small frame. So the spawns will be split between the mule deer and elk. It'll be a shared spawn. So your numbers won't always be that consistently good, but it is consistently good, if you know what I mean. You consistently have have a number of elk, sometimes very good, sometimes just about average. So it stays good in general. And earlier times, um, shucks, that shot was far back. She started moving straight away. Um, Hopefully that didn't spook anything important. Um, but hunting the stand early on in the day is better than um, later on. And I also prefer starting at the stand. Not like starting, but this would be, I would start at a lodge or start at a different tent and then fast travel to this tent. Um, and I find that's the most effective way of hunting this one. As I explained earlier with the other stand that's only elk, and that, in my opinion, is the best elk stand. Um, at that stand, you have to start at that stand. Like, that'll be your first fast travel, and basically straight after starting the hunt, that's where you need to go. If you're wanting elk, again, same. That looks tighter frame. Um, but that's one of the most important things. So that's the sort of difference between, or no difference, that's similarity between these two stands. I will always suggest this will be like, they'll be the first places to go in the hunt. Um, then you start wandering around. Um, but this is this is a good number of elk this hunt. Um, so far, that is. I just need to see if there's anything coming in with that bull. Um, this bull is cutting the distance here, and obviously the cow's gonna stop there and not continue and give us a shot. Um, yeah, nah, I knew it. But we will see what we can do, what else comes in. So here's that other bull. I have to take the shot quickly. Yes, got it. That was off to our left there. Now you can see the mule deer in this area. Probably could have taken that shot safely, but rather safe than sorry. But yeah, you can see the mule deer that are in the area. But so far, pretty good on the elk. I was hoping the guy that's coming in here from behind was going to be big, but that's what I was greeted with. But I hear footsteps off into these trees. Could be a cow that I spooked earlier, but you never know. Maybe it's something new. Can I get a shot off at this guy? Think, no, alright. It's definitely an elk, but I don't know if it's a bull or cow or what or when it's from. All I know is that it's an elk. Can hear. Um, we shall see. It's probably a cow that I spooked off earlier. So, come on. I just need this guy to stop. There we go. Down he goes. And then we'll put her down as well. I hear footsteps. And it's the same direction. No, it's a cow. So that bull belonged to a herd, I guess. So we'll call her in. Maybe she's got another bull friend. Doubt it, but it would be nice. Okay. I don't know if I can get a shot. No, but she's going to give us a shot now. Ooh, almost took that shot when she popped up. No, she don't. Don't see any others. So let's tally up here quickly. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with, no, that I counted her. 9 with one behind the tree. Then we got a bull to track, that's 10, and then 3 cows got away, that's 13. 13 elk. We won't count the mule deer because that's irrelevant at the moment. 13 elk, that's pretty decent, I'd say. So, as you guys can see by the map here, Rocky Mountain Elk can basically spawn anywhere north of the southern part of the river and south of the mountains. Um, Obviously, they're on the far right, below the lake. They do spawn in that area that I showed off in the beginning. Um, so that's basically the only exception, being south of the river, even though it's not really south of the river, but you guys get what I mean. Um, so as I was explaining, they go all the way up that river to the top of that, to where that lake is. Um, at the end of the river, there where it meets the lake, it's not a bad spot for elk either. But just to save time, I showed you guys the best spots in my opinion. Um, so I didn't show off that whole river system. It's not bad for elk, but to be more time efficient and get more elk in a shorter period of time, I'd suggest the route that I showed off and the areas that I showed off. Obviously, you don't need tents and tree stands in those areas, especially where the two lodges are. You can just go on foot, walk through those areas. You'll still get elk. Doesn't mean necessarily you have to have a tree stand and a tent in the areas that I have. It makes it more efficient, makes it easier to get around and quicker to get to those spots. But I mean, if you still walk through those areas, you'll still get just as many elk in those areas. So this is just the map to give you guys a bit of reference. But let's get to showing you guys the other areas. So if you look at these 3 bulls, I mean, the first one is the best example of the perfect elk. He scored 425, I believe. 3 perfect back tines on each side, nice and long, even. He's got the biggest frame possible. His G3s are perfect, nice and long. His fronts are very long, also even. Same on the second one. You see, the second one has uneven back tines, even though he's got 3 on both sides. His G3s are nice and long, even. So are his fronts, his G1s. So the only thing, and he's got the biggest frame possible. So the only thing hurting him are those back tines. And the same with the last one, the back tines, the only thing that hurts him. All of them are the same frame, same tine length on the front. The bottom 2 only just make it over 400, and then the top one, obviously a monster at 425. So that's basically what you're looking for when you're looking for a big elk. That frame and then just good back tines and good fronts. So I thought this would be a fitting way to end it off with a 425 and a 417 elk, 2 beautiful bulls. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this video was helpful to you guys, and I also hope you guys can get out there and get yourself some nice big elk and some rares to go in your trophy lodge. Have a great one, guys. See you guys in the next one.